dang EV chargers. Biden got billions to shell out on them. He built zero. Zero. Mayor Pete, however, isn't ready to give up on the EV dream.
I take very personally the importance of the fact that America led the world in the automotive revolution. Now that we're in the midst of the second automotive revolution, it is critical that America do so once more.
He just bored me to death in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Now you know what we feel.
Greg?
I guess the truth hurts.
Ooh.
Oh.
Good night, everybody.
Can I leave early? You know, here's the deal. The rental car, by its very nature, is supposed to be punished by its user. You pay insurance for it, you do whatever you want to it. It's not the reverse. We don't take on special responsibilities with a rental car. It's supposed to make our lives easier. And you don't put commerce before technology. It's great to innovate, it's great to create, but you don't throw out your old coat until you got a better, warmer one. This issue has been driven by activism and wishful thinking and some profit, and it far exceeded the infrastructure and the capabilities of the industry itself. And also you have the media that bought into the climate science, which wasn't real. So what you're seeing in Germany, they're now forced to use less electricity now than they did in the 1970s because they phased out a basic need on the false presumption that something would take its place. They were wrong. It's stupid. And I say this applauding electric vehicles because some are impeccably designed, but they're a supplement to the existing gas vehicles because it's impossible right now then for them to handle the load. I think, these watching politicians trying to ban gas-powered cars, knowing that it's impossible and what it's going to do to the American hardworking citizens is cruel. They're putting the cart before the horsepower. But they're willing to punish you because they are impervious to the hardships.
Dana, so Hertz is, I guess it's a little embarrassing. Do you think the White House is conscious that this is even happening?
Do you remember when we did the story about how all the car dealerships had all the extra inventory of EVs and they couldn't sell them? And the White House had the audacity to say, the car dealers are wrong.
Right.
As if they don't want to make money.
Yeah.
Of course they want to make money and sell these cars. DeSantis said something the other night about this whole thing. He said, we do have market-based solar and it's a compliment, but we cannot walk away from reliable energy. That sounds like a reasonable thing. Like, why wouldn't the left say, okay, actually that makes a lot of sense. The administration needs to build so many charging stations to meet their goals. I got this from the automakers today. They would need to do 414 chargers would need to be installed every day for the next 7 years in order for them to keep up with the demand. Plus, it was not a good week for the Biden administration's climate agenda. They got knocked back by the Fifth Circuit on their whole dishwasher plan to make you basically have no water for your dishwasher and the washing machines. And the other thing is consumers don't like it. So instead of putting money behind innovation, they're trying to put the cart before the horsepower. That was a great line.
Thank you.
Great line. I have to give him that.
Do you have any great lines, Harold Ford Jr.?
No, so I think about this. I've been told that at the beginning of the show, John.
Oh, he's sensitive.
No, that's the last thing I am. The infrastructure for this stuff is going to happen. I remember when we were making the transition. Remember when you used to get in the car and the seatbelt would automatically come on and no one wanted to wear the seatbelt? Now everyone wears a seatbelt. Everyone understands the reasons behind it. I remember when we were trying to transition in a public health standpoint to no smoking in public places. And I was in Congress, I said, I can't imagine states like Tennessee and North Carolina embracing this. And we've made this transition. This is a difficult and different transition. Think about this. We produce more oil in America in 2023 than we ever have. And I hope we continue to over the next several years because the transition is not going to, I think Democrats or Republicans, or for that matter, activists who believe that we somehow or another going to shun and move away from oil and gas altogether over the next 6 months or 12 months. That's ludicrous. What we should be thinking about is how do we address some of these issues? One of the things that's happened in the car business, the cars that sell the most are hybrids today. And the EV cars are not selling as much, largely because the infrastructure is not there. But I've been a believer when I first started doing shows on this network, the person that had me on the most was Brett Baer, and the person that had me on second most was Dana Perino. And I came on her show, would often say, the two people in this country who are the richest are investing in electric vehicles and space exploration. One's name is Elon Musk, and the other's name is Jeff Bezos. We praise Musk around this table for his innovation, for helping to make things faster, cheaper, help make us healthier, help things run more efficiently. He's still a believer that this is the future, and I happen to believe that he's right. But we're not going to transition off of oil and gas altogether. This is a matrix and a more balanced calibration that has to be achieved over the next several years.
Right, it can't be done through mandates.
That's your takeaway?
That was your takeaway.
Okay, it's the consumer who will decide whether or not the electric vehicles are going to be part of the mainstream. Look, the consumers don't want it. When you have Hertz, who's going to sell 20,000 vehicles at a loss of something like $250 million of these electric vehicles, because people don't even want to rent them. I mean, you've got a real problem. And 57% of the people in this country don't want to buy them. That's because they cost over $50,000 each, whereas your gas vehicle, the average price is $30,000. And EVs in 21, 22, and 23, 79% of them had more problems than vehicles with combustible engines, okay? There are problems. The government set aside $7.5 billion for these charging stations, and there's not a one has been installed yet, okay? So, I mean, stop trying to force us to do something we don't want to do. And I got to tell you, part of my resistance, part of my anger is because this battery is being made in China. All right, well, China's got these coal-fired plants, and they are creating all kinds of problems with the environment. We're giving them business to create these batteries that no insurance company wants to insure, that when they die, they're an environmental problem. And the American people don't want the car. The manufacturers don't want to make the cars. Ford now is cutting back on the manufacturing of electric vehicles to half of what they did. And the bottom line is the only people making money are the people who are making the batteries, and that's China. And let me just go a little more on China, just because I want to. On Monday, this administration decided that Chinese nationals coming across the border, instead of answering the 40 questions that everybody else has to answer, they only have to answer 5 questions, following the uptick in Chinese nationals. Okay.